All right, keeping it pushing, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty. We have KG, Spencer Raxter. You know the players, and you know the game. And you know that it is Tuesday as well. And as always, we're joined by our injury insider. That is right. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce, the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Doc, I know you're probably a busy guy now, huh? The season's getting ready to change. High school seasons, firing up, things getting going.
Absolutely. Everybody's got another idea, getting serious, getting in a routine. Kids are going back to school. I can get into my workout in a normal routine.
Yep.
Injury, pushing it because I'm running out of time. We got it all going on.
I do have to ask you this, Doc, and I full disclosure, I talked about this in the break with you.
Right.
We've discussed it. Spenny, I got on a stretch routine. We're talking like 20 minutes. And it's hard. Mm-hmm. Like it's very, very difficult to do. And that's as sore as I've been in a long time from a workout after day one. Day two, when I went back, Doc, I felt 20% more flexible. Is that placebo? Am I making that up, or is it possible?
I told you the mental part of everything is the biggest player these days. But no, you're still at an age where stretching, you're going to see the effects. One is you were doing nothing, so anything was better, right? So you're going to you'll get some benefit right out of the gate. It's like losing weight. You can lose a lot of water weight, so you get that big jump. Similar thing with stretching is your muscles they want to do it. They want to be lengthened. They want to be utilized. It's just like I tell people, they don't take a deep breath. When you don't take a deep breath, you don't maximize the whole lung. There's corners of the lung, and then eventually you lose it. This is telling you, fortunately, you're not old enough that you're losing it. You still got some left in the tank.
All right, I'll take it. No, but
you have to stick with it.
And I will. It's part of the regimen. We've chopped some miles off the runs to that time,
right?
Time budgeting. Time. You know what I'm saying? So it is. We're in there, and we'll be doing it. But yeah. So Doc, the plyometrics thing.
Yes.
Right? Like, it is taking over sport. It seems like it anyway.
No, it's always been there. I just think the masses have caught on to it. I mean, we've been doing it for, 20. I hate to say how long I've been around, but the day I came out, that was the big thing for my young athletes. I mean, we were real big with Little Caesars hockey, the AAA hockey. We were having the kids, when you're doing box jumping and ladder work and all that, that's a new form of plyometrics. We're just taking it to the next level. McCaffrey, I think, is a big part of it. I think, at least in my world, I mean, he's pushing it. And I've talked to you about the ankles and how you're going to do it. But I think the big thing that we can benefit the general public is the young individuals. They're fighting with, do I work out? Do I build those big muscles as, that age of 12 to 18? Or are you working on plyometrics? And the answer is a combination. Not that you want to know what the answer. You want the answer, but the answer is plyometrics, because what that does, it's advancing your ligaments, your small muscles, your bone. You're still growing. You need those ligaments to catch up. When you start putting big muscle on top of a premature ligament, you're looking for an injury down the road. And that's why these, we talked about Tommy John things. We talked, what's the prevention? What can we do at the age of 14, 15, 16 to maximize their growth and their base? Right? It's all about building the structure of your base. You, not picking on you, but you said you were overweight. The structures change. But if I can mold someone, like I'm trying to mold my son, it's the plyometrics. He wants to see, like he's always grabbing his arm and look at the measurement of his arm. I'm like, you got to worry about the ligaments you can't see. So the plyometrics are huge, and some of the trainers are catching on, but not yesterday's trainers, more of those today guys.
Right, so that's the biggest difference between nowadays, because I remember that was sort of like introduced back in the day in our locker room. The box, remember the box we used to skin our knees on, Igor doing the jumps and stuff like this?
Yeah.
But is that the biggest difference, and is that like what you would suggest to get the kids into earlier, because it's more preventative? You always talk about preventative. That's the biggest thing that I think. Your explanation to me over the years in our relationship is you need to do this because it's going to help you this way down the road.
Right, and a lot of times, early on, what's nice is it's finally getting backed up. We've been saying it for so long. like, Doc, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, even with the Red Wings, I mean, these guys, I met them when they're already elite athletes. They're like, oh, I have my routine. To break Darren down to understand,
Did you have to break him down?
No, because his credit, not talking in front of him, but, Darren was committed. I mean, he has that attitude. He's committed, but like he's always said, I chose to follow the right people. Like, he followed Drapes, he followed Eiserman, he followed what they were doing, from a skill. And, he had Scotty Bowman on his butt too. But yeah, he was, Darren had a reputation, as being the bad boy, the bad, can I say that?
Yeah.
Badass
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Say whatever you want.
Whatever.
The badass effer on the team, but he worked hard for that. People don't know he trained in boxing before it was cool to train in boxing, and hand speed and foot speed and things like that. So yeah, he did, but we also talked about injury prevention. But yeah, if I can get these kids, what was nice is I got kids, like when I first came out, I was big with Little Caesars Hockey and Hockey Weekly, and I was able to explain what plyometrics were, what the foot speed, all that stuff was important. And then you would see some of the elite teams that weren't involved with us. The trainer would be, oh, we're going to put a ladder out and do it. And the kids really wouldn't do it, right? So it's like the effort was there, but the, actually doing it wasn't the accurate thing to do.
Here's the biggest thing as a professional athlete, right? And this is why you get it into your foundation younger. But Doc could explain the why, right? So it was why you're gonna do it, and you're gonna be more efficient of it. But this is why we're doing it, and so not even as a professional, but for anybody else to get into that routine, like you just said, specifically where we've gone talking about it, you've made an adjustment to your running schedule, but whether it's mentally to Doc, but you've implemented stretching, just that. He's talking plyometrics, but all this stuff, but he can tell you the why, and this is the science, and this is behind it, why you want to do that. And so when he would explain this, I needed direction more than anything, right? So to be provided by that, that's what you need to know why you're doing things and why it's helping you out.
I mean, a lot of it was to be accepted, right? I worked through the ranks. I started with Little Caesars Hockey. I started with the juniors, and I worked my way up to these guys. So it's like I had to prove myself, And you don't prove yourself by being a bimbo, You got, these guys.
Well, Doc, that's not true.
I mean,
that's not entirely fair.
In the
Spenny
sports
told me
world
something that
of
sometimes.
medicine.
In the
But go
sports
ahead.
world. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't
I digress.
put an asterisk under that one. But yeah, I think once I was accepted, then, it was pretty much, I'm too busy. Just tell me what I need to do. And, and Drapes is probably one of the hardest working guys. I mean, that relationship, Osgood, flexibility for Osgood was huge. So there was little tweaks, and I'm not saying I was the main doctor, but I was one of the guys that was an offshoot that was respected. That, what does Doc think about that? But, getting back to what we were talking about, the plyometrics, I'm excited. I'm excited that it's already caught up. It's catching up. They're not there. I think McCaffrey is. I keep going back to him, but there's a lot of players. Like I saw a TikTok this morning. Basically, how did you become so fast? Was it your big toe was bigger than others? Why are you so fast? No, it's because he worked at it. And he called the other kids out. It's like, you got really good at Fortnite because you kept playing Fortnite. Your twitch fibers were faster. Well, I was out there running so I could, make it to the professional level. It's all where your commitment is and who you surround yourself with. Like, even go back to Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods had connections here in Detroit with one of the doctors who's a lot older than me now, but he taught him foundation, what he's supposed to do from a fundamental. There's a basis to that. I mean, Tiger's a different mental picture, but having the right team around you, even Scotty Scheffler, it was his team. I mean, he had talent, but who's the team around him? Who's training you? Who's stretching you? Who's keeping you mentally tough? I mean, it's so important. That's why coaches, I've gotten a lot of, I don't know where I'm going here.
No,
I
got
a lot of bad slack from coaches when I called a lot of coaches out in my Hockey Weekly articles. If people remember Hockey Weekly, that's that paper thing that was existed. I used to write in there and call coaches out. Stop abusing your best players and train all your players to play the game. Some are mom and dads, but it's a coach can be a big hindrance or a complement to your career.
No, and Doc, we're talking with Dr. Jeff Pierce as we do every Tuesday here on Big D Energy with our weekend injury or weekly injury discussion. And Doc, like, how can we relate it to us, right? Because that's what it comes back to. Like, we hear about that, the team and the team you have around you and stuff like that. But for us, like the quote, weekend athlete. And Doc, for me, the mental side of it, which you talk about, like I had to come to grips with that. That, all right, this is important. Here's why. And the Christian McCaffrey thing, and you talk about, that's great to help the message and all that. But for us that don't have teams around us, your team is you. It's your mental capability to understand what needs to be done and push yourself to not just do what's easy. So it is because you preach it all the time, and I'm finally starting to connect the dots with it and things like that. But the reason things changed for me was because I gained mentally to where I could compartmentalize, and here's the why, and this is what we have to do, and you got to do it. Like you go do it, and that's it. That there is nothing that gets in the way of that. You just do it. Usually,
the person's their most limiting factors themselves.
1,000,000%.
And you have to trust who's telling you. Like I'm not picking on my profession or people around it, but they don't always have the best answer. And it's not that they didn't mean to give the best answer. They're just not as educated. I got years, am I smarter now than I was when I started? Yeah. In some ways, like I tell all my residents and students, you realize every day that you weren't as smart as you were yesterday because, you're learning something new every time. But, get to the science of what we're trying to talk about with the plyometrics. It's important. It's very important to build that infrastructure. Is it, I'm not a teenager anymore and I can't do it? No. It's going to be easier it's just like planting a tree. What's the best day to plant? Yesterday. But today's today. You got to have a starting point. I have a lot of philosophical answers.
Yeah, you're getting deep here. I didn't know Doc had this angle to him, D-Mac.
Way to get him rolling.
Get me going.
He's rolling. Exactly.
You only cut me to 15 minutes. So okay. Sweet.
All right, Doc. Well, as always, we appreciate this time. And speaking of wisdom, we have some in the chat here. Just remember, curls get the girls. So
going with those beauty muscles still. We gotta.
That's Danny G, by the way.
You gotta build out that infrastructure.
No need for anything besides curls and bench press. So that's the ideology that you're going up. But we appreciate you.
Maybe when they get to 25, 30, but my 15 to 20-year-olds, I still want to push plyometrics. But it does work on that foot speed and all that. We didn't have time for my little video, eh?
What's that?
The little video.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted to play it. I just thought you wanted to talk about the ideology of it.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of stuff out there right now. It talks about foot, ankle, talks about speed, it talks about the plyometrics, the explosive. All that is important. And if you have questions or anything, you can reach us or wherever. We'll put it through the chat. And, maybe we start having requests through the chat what they want to hear about.
Yeah, for sure.
To the next level.
And then
we didn't mention the Lions at all today, so we're probably gonna be slow.
But hey, Tuesday reaction. Don't worry, we'll get our quota of Lions talk in there on Tuesday. No, but Doc, we can do that. If there's anything you guys are curious about, Doc's here. Stop letting me monopolize the time for free all the time. You guys step in there with some free time for Doc. No, but Doc, we appreciate you coming through and appreciate the discussion as always.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, there he is, our
Doc.
injury insider. You guys know Dr. Jeff Pierce here from the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. His appearance courtesy of MRI of Southfield as well.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insight with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursdays during Ermanni and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that I trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.